To start, Depth of Extinction lays it on thick. The death of the human race is imminent! It's your job to explore the world and collect the key items to save it. The opening scene is actually pretty good, and I have a lot of questions about what's going to happen. Anyway, at the highest view, the world is broken up into a few zones. Each zone has several objectives that are just missions. Once you start a mission, you have to select your loadout by choosing a submarine and your troops. Yes, I said submarine. Now there are different subs to choose from: standard, armored, or just one that carries more fuel, depending on how much cash you're willing to fork over. Next, you select who you want to take. If you don't have enough people, then of course mercenaries will gladly come along for a price. Your troops start off really green, so it's best to take a merc on your first few missions. Then, you're taken to a map with several nodes that you must work through to get to your objective. Click on the first node and surprise! Those nodes actually lead to more nodes that are the real encounters. If this is a bit confusing, I agree. Do we really need nodes in nodes? Once the initial confusion wears off, it's not that bad. Just head in the direction of your goal. What it does though is obfuscate how much fuel you're gonna need. Since each node takes one fuel to get to, it would be ill-advised to spend more than you need to. I can't tell if the game wants me to hang around and clear everything or finish quick. I always have extra fuel at the end of a mission and I don't get compensated for it. The extra fuel isn't usable on the next mission either. Now, I'm not sure if the nodes in nodes was done to simplify the map or to limit the player's knowledge. On PC, there's plenty of room for the whole map, and fuel is the only thing you have to worry about. There's no external forces driving you to your goal. Anyway, it's not that big of a deal, it's just kind of weird. The nodes are random, but give a context as to what you might expect from them. But as you play, of course, you'll start to notice and predict what will happen. Most of the time, it's raiders though, and that means a fight. As the difficulty increases, your objective will take more nodes to reach. This forces you into more combat and some concerns with fuel. However, Depth of Extinction doesn't give any hard deadlines, so you can replay easier missions as many times as you want until you build up your bank and your team. If you can do these easier missions, which can be boring, then you'll be much better off in the long run. The missions themselves are fairly straightforward. Kill all enemies, rescue a hostage, or investigate the facility. The objectives might be slightly different, but the tactics are the same for each. Head in and clear whatever it is room by room. Enemies stay inside their rooms until you open the door, no matter how much noise you make. It's more like a couple of small fights instead of one giant facility fight. If the objective is different than murdering everyone, then you might be able to skip a room. There are a few exceptions though. One time I ran into a facility only to have the raiders show up and block my path to the sub, so the goal was to escape. That was fun. And the bosses are a pure head-on attack where you slog it out shot for shot until one side is dead. These types of missions are rare, but really interesting. One of the more surprising aspects of the game is the static defenses of the facilities. I can't tell you why these activate, but they can attack both you and the raiders. What a delight when I found this out. It's a very cool inclusion and throws some uncertainty into the fights, which could go both ways. Do you destroy it quickly or hope it kills your enemy? Awesome stuff. So the tactics are to move slow and make sure to cover all the angles. Overwatch seems particularly powerful, and having one person that can be the lead while the others hang back is a very good strategy. If you rush in and you're alone, then all enemies will attack one soldier. Turn-based combat keeps it strategic since you need to carefully take each turn and focus the correct enemy. You'll want to down the enemies as fast as possible, so they won't get your most precious resource, health. Health items are extremely limited, and when you start, it's a huge issue. so keeping players safe is often more important, but there are opportunities for enemies to one-shot you later in the game. That's painful. Side note, while you need to reload your gun, the soldiers carry unlimited ammo. This changes how you handle fights, and you'll be much less concerned about wasting ammo, even with a low hit chance. You'll take a lot more shots. Of course, Depth of Extinction has 8 classes for you to choose from, and that comes with customizable gear. The classes are pretty cool and have their own style of play. I'm surprised there are classes that work in close range. I have a shotgunner that opens all the doors, runs in to shoot the raiders at point blank range. It's pretty funny. As your soldiers progress, they can level up and you can pick where to spend their points. Choosing a class only changes the last progression bar, and by putting points into that, you can give them unique skills. I really like the upgrade system and find it easy to customize the soldier the way I want. I always try and give them more health and movement speed, and more vision on my sniper. But maybe your team doesn't even have a sniper. You can do whatever you want. As I mentioned in the intro, I like how quick the combat plays out. I don't have a ton of patience, and an encounter can be finished in 5 to 10 minutes. Customizing my team means I am invested in keeping them alive, even if I can't change their names. As you get further into the game, it does get more difficult. I have encountered much stronger enemies now, and I'm a little concerned my team isn't up to snuff. Now, if I was going to complain about anything, it would have to be that the story is spaced too far out. I played one story mission right away, and then the next one is at a hard difficulty. Where's the medium story mission? Jumping straight from easy to hard keeps me from experiencing the story for far too long. I'm losing interest. Depth of Extinction has a strong opening, and I wish it felt like the side missions were not a way to exaggerate the game's length. Also, I worry that with all of these battles, it's going to get too repetitive. Right now I don't mind, but you'll have so many fights with raiders, it could get annoying. I wish there was a bigger diversity with the nodes. I already stopped reading the text a long time ago. I can't really tell if charging in or going in quietly really does anything different either. Overall, I like Depth of Extinction. It's a fun little turn-based combat game that has some good randomization. I really enjoy the soldier customization and snappy combat. Over time, I'm sure the many encounters will get tedious, but so far that hasn't happened. I'm pretty invested in keeping this team alive too. Now keep in mind that I'm not typically someone who plays strategy games, but I do play roguelikes. That said, I feel confident recommending Depth of Extinction if it looks cool to you. I play enough bad games to know that this isn't one of them. Thanks for watching this video. Hit subscribe to be notified of the next time I upload. That's how that works. You probably already knew that. I knew that, you knew that, so you should do it. Thanks.